Welcome to episode 8 of the Audacity Factor podcast. My name is Kathryn Daw. I'm your host, also the founder of the Audacity Project and Audacity Coaching and Strategies. Today, I've been inspired to just come as is. I came back from a dog walk and a trip to the dump. These are kind of the reality things of our everyday lives that can distract us, but also keep us in a place of some organization, which I like. And they also end up being strategic for me as well, because I don't like the feeling of having things kind of lingering around that I know need to be done because they can nag at me. And this is one of those things that, a lot of those things we can keep things, save things, we can ignore things, we can overlook things that we don't really recognize can have this kind of distracting effect on us, pulling our little pieces of our attention away from what we really want to focus on. And that's even the joy in our lives. As I was walking my dog today, I recognize, she is just all about what she loves. She wants to do more and more of what she loves to do, whether that be napping or eating is one of her favorite things. And now I've started to walk her in the morning, and she loves these walks a little bit obsessively. However, I recognize that I have control over how much of those things she gets to do. Now, if we can look at our own lives, we can tend to believe that outside circumstances have control over our lives, control over how much joy we feel, control over how much joy we have, also control over our unhappiness, our fear, our feelings of unworthiness or not being good enough or too much even. I know I've felt both of those things. And even from the same person, I was too much and not enough all at the same time. So I knew that there was absolutely no way for me to please this person. Even though I tried, I ended up, after years of recognizing I would never get anywhere, I just finally stopped doing it. I stopped participating in it, but it took me a long time to be able to do that. Now, when it comes to those things that don't make me feel good, whether it's my beliefs, my thinking, and that a lot of that can be ruminating. Can it be over things we think we did wrong, or the past, regrets we may have, resentments? That's a big one that can distract us from the present and actually the joy in our lives. My card from my card deck, the Practical Wisdom deck. Here's the back of one of the cards. And here's the front. This card is the Hearth. This is the very first card of the deck. But the tangle has a meaning around it that we have all of these different threads all tangled up in a mess. And there can be other things in there that we don't realize, kind of like that dust ball or dust bunny that we keep shoving under the corner of our rug. It just collects more debris. But the good things are also, maybe an earring you lost is in the middle of that tangle and you didn't even know, but you won't know until you take the messy tangle out from under the corner of your rug. But things around us can also do the same thing, and that can be people, that can be places. A lot of times it's things, and also things we know we may need to do, we may want to do, but aren't actually doing. I know right now that my car needs to be cleaned out because I'm going to pick my daughter up at the airport today, and I don't want her to see that car like that. So that's one of my tasks for today. And I know it will make me feel better, even though I feel the inconvenience of having to do it. But that's okay. Things can be inconvenient, but that doesn't mean it's some kind of giant obstacle for you to get to a place that you really feel you want to be, that makes you feel good. In a conversation I had with my daughter the other day, I said, you can always tell when you're being led astray. And this can be by your ruminations, your romanticizing something because you don't feel good. That's that little gremlin, the distraction gremlin, the ego gremlin, the gremlin that creates the miasma, or what I sometimes call is we're our own personal dementor if you're a Harry Potter fan. But when you're feeling good, that's when you are being led by your aligned, I don't, maybe vision, or your aligned self, aligned with what is real and true for you. You're in your values, you're in your integrity, you are in what makes you happy and joyful. And it's really, again, it goes back for me to the two things. You're either feeling good or you're feeling not good. And not good can feel like many different things. So it's important to recognize that distinction. It can be lethargy, it can be sadness, it can be fogginess, it can be a lack of feeling of motivation or lack of inspiration. Stuck is always the big term everyone uses. But for me, that has a bit more permanence when these other feelings can be transient. And it's important to recognize it's okay to uh, travel through those as opposed to sitting there in them and staying for a while, because that's not really what we want to do. Now, our goal is always to do more of the things that make us feel good, think more of the things that make us feel good, have beliefs that make us feel good, feel inspired, feel like there's excitement on the horizon for us, feel loved, joyful, the things that we really aim for in our life. So how about let's do more of those things and recognize the things that are distracting us from that, whether it's a person, whether it's your financial situation, whether it's your health, whether it's the things that are sitting around your house that you know you need or want to get rid of. I encourage you, challenge you to take one of those things at a time, because I guarantee you, my dogs here are not interested in having anything around that they don't want or like. They're always all about the things that bring them joy. Throwing the ball, going for a walk, food. The one, she is very food driven. So, and understand the difference. It's important to recognize the difference between numbing and supporting yourself. Numbing will always be undermining, always. Supporting yourself is making the choices that you know will lead to you feeling good. Even instantaneously, if it's stepping outside on your front porch, if it's standing out there in a sunny window, if it's going looking at the creek, whatever it is. And a lot of times it's important to know the things that you can get immediate happiness and joy from. For me, it's a cup of good coffee, because you know what? I'm worth it. That came from a long-term friend of mine. She and I lived together for a while we were both divorced and we both had young daughters. It was fun. And I used to reheat my coffee, and she said, she said, you are worth having a fresh cup of coffee. And now, so I've applied that in many places in my life. So I am worth this fresh, good cup of coffee. But you get to decide what that coffee is for you. Maybe it's a banana. Maybe it's a particular type of cereal. Maybe it's a walk. It really could be anything, but recognize the difference between numbing and being supportive uh, in a way that leads you towards what you want, towards how you want to feel, because numbing never leads you there. Say, always had this practice of 3 meals a week, one breakfast, one lunch, one dinner. I could eat whatever I wanted, because I'm not one that I don't like to believe in, I don't believe in depriving yourself of things, but I also don't believe in excess either. Now, not that I haven't indulged at times, but you know what? I always regret it, always. But in those moments when you make a choice to say, you know what? I'm going to have the pancakes and the eggs and the bacon this morning for breakfast. If you're going to do that, enjoy every bit of it. Don't have pancake remorse. Don't have breakfast eaters remorse because you took away all of your joy. And if you even start out that way, saying, I shouldn't be doing this, and you know how I all feel about the should word, then don't do it because it's not worth it in the end. But if you are willing to enjoy that one indulgent breakfast, that's the feeling that you're looking for. Knowing that each other morning, you are going to do what serves your health so that you can feel good, because we all know how we feel physically, emotionally, psychologically, spiritually affects every other area of our life. Our relationships, our finances, and that includes your relationship with yourself, our finances, our careers, they all affect each other. So, what can you do first to remove anything that is lingering, any of the little nagging things? Unravel some of those threads and remind yourself of the joy that you actually have in your life. I have 2 plants sitting right over here. Now, I am not a cereal plant grower, especially not indoors, because I tend to neglect them. But I recognize that when I stop, when I'm not distracted and I remind myself, oh, I have these lovely plants right here, it gives me moments of joy and happiness. And I happen to have my daughter's photo right here too. So that always is a source of happiness for me as well. So it's really those things. Can you limit the distractions? Can you clear your area? Now, my area here is used for multiple things. I'm an artist, so there's always some paint and some panels, some half-started canvases, a lot of other things around, but I've minimized the clutter so everything can have its place. That helps me not to be distracted. And I know when I have some things that I need to be doing that are nagging at me that I just let go, like there's an area back here, my dining room is behind me, that I need to clear out before my daughter gets here. She's going to be visiting for a few days. That also, along with cleaning the car, is on my agenda. And I know I always feel better when I take care of those things. And when I can throw away or give away or even sell things that I no longer want, things that are no longer aligned with how I want to feel. I don't feel good having them, or they just don't mean anything. And again, it's be really important to recognize that we give meaning to every single thing that we have. So the only meaning it has is the one that you give to it. And we don't need to keep 1,000 things that remind us of something because we have the memories. And you've got to create space. You have to. That's why removing the distractions, removing the clutter, you've got to allow space for growth. You've got to allow space for something new. And this is why I'm deciding to shut down my coaching practice. It seems to be blocking me from my transition forward. So I thank all of you who've been clients in the past and even clients at the present. I will be moving on to broader things that you all can still participate in. And I would love to have you. And you know, all of my offerings here online are gifts of service for you, for all of you. Anyone who taps in and who wants to bring some courage, recognize your choices, and bring change to their lives. Because having the courage to make aligned choices will bring change to your life and have the ripple effect all around you. So today I encourage you, I challenge you. How can you unclutter? How can you untangle? How can you find that missing earring by starting to untangle the threads of what's keeping you from your happiness, your joy, the things that you enjoy? Okay, this has been an interesting video experience for me. I've done a lot of lives in the past on Facebook, on Instagram, on LinkedIn, even YouTube is one I've not yet done, but it's coming. And I really just wanted to be out here and just, come at you how I am this morning. I was planning on talking a little bit about who I am and my, I don't want to say past experiences, but kind of the road that I've traveled to get where I am. And I think I'll save that for next time, or maybe I'll do that in a live. I think I might do that. So stay tuned. All right, this is the end for me for episode 8 of the Audacity Factor podcast, and I will see you all next week.